Part 2 of the Wyong midweek preview. As I said, it's an ATC meeting at Wyong. Small fields are the order of the day, but it looks an interesting card. And the back half kicks off with race 5, the benchmark 67 over 1350 metres. I think it's the race of the day. And our favourite is Zonk, last start 1000 metre maiden winner at the Gosford Guineas program. She's $2.90. Medlin, who went down at a short price at Warwick Farm 2 weeks ago, is $4. $5 the debutante winner Passage of Time. $8 is Aquatic, now gets B Shin. $9.50 White Moss. $12 Submissive. And long odds Crown Him and Ribbon of Choice. This looks a particularly keen race where Medlin seeks the front. Zonk keeps him out initially before perhaps handing up and taking a trail. White Moss was ridden well forward in her second up run on this course the other day. Passage of Time has some speed. Submissive has led them up at her last 2 starts, and Ribbon of Choice is not that far away, leaving Crown Him and Aquatic to go back to the tail. Zonk is a most interesting runner here. She's a filly with undoubted talent. She's had 2 starts, and on her first start she ran into In Her Time, who was on song. She then went for a spell and then resumed at Gosford for a solid return win. Now here she steps up from 1000 to 1350 and has drawn gate 1. 2 no-nos, but she is clearly a horse of talent. I know that Gord is firmly in her camp. Passage of Time is the horse that most interests me in this race. He did a lot of chasing against a Gay Waterhouse favourite and reeled him in quite easily and went on to win handsomely at Kembla on debut. Medlin obviously is a horse that's stepping up to 1350 with the senior rider on board, can be excused his latest failure. We've got Aquatic, who has carried Lee Megorian at the Provincials at his latest start and gets B Shin in a race that's run to suit. White Moss is a filly that that broke through with a vengeance here at her 3rd start and looks to have an excellent chance. And I've mentioned Submissive has led them up. She perhaps takes a sit here, and she's a winner at this course and distance. So it's a race that's quite deep. So Zonk has a question to answer from mine tomorrow. Medlin I thought was a little hard to like after 2 heavy track runs at Warwick Farm, and Passage of Time was the way I was leaning. That's race 5. Race 6, we're up to the journey here, 2100 metres. $3.20 in favourite is Sedge & Ho. $4.60 no return, getting on a drier surface. In fact, the track will be nearly dry tomorrow. $6 number 6 Zavina, $7.50 Get on the Grange, $8 up from Victoria Star Zone, $13 next best Graffelli, and long odds the bottom 2. Now this is another keen race where Sedge & Ho would like to take it up. Get on the Grange is a designated on pacer, and New Divide will almost lead this field. So there's 3 to get well forward here, setting a solid speed. Sedge & Ho is 2 from 2 at this course and distance. He resumed from a short break at 1850 and really found it tough, and understandably tough. With the benefit of that run, a relatively quick backup, Kieran McAvoy getting back board and return to Wyong, he's eminently likeable. No Return has been poking around for several months now, and I understand the appeal of a good configuration, B Shin to ride and a dry track, but not doing a great deal for mine, whereas Get on the Grange really served it up to Paragon at Warwick Farm, and with the benefit of that run will come on. Zavina has won her last 2 starts at Gosford, meaning that she's won 3 races at the 2100 at Gosford, but a quickish backup and a race run to suit gives her a good chance. So I'm suggesting that Sedge & Ho fits in well here, that Zavina has a good chance, Get on the Grange is primed, and No Return has obvious claims, but not one of mine. That's race 6. Race 7, fillies and mares over the mile. This is the penultimate, $3.25 Shandana with the blinkers on. $4 Montagnac, who's up to the mile. $5 Sweet Adeline, $7 Kirini, $9.50 Fashion Snips, $11 Eva Luna, And the roughie is My Millie Moo, who's won 2 over this course and distance at $21. Unfortunately, with the scratching of Countess Marinov, we've been left with not much to go forward here. I'd suggest that Sweet Adeline from her wide gate will push forward, despite being ridden off the speed the other day. That Shandana with the blinkers on will be relatively on pace, and that Carini won't be far away. Shandana is scratching around here. Now, she was ridden by H. Bowman last start at the 1400 at Warwick Farm. She came back in distance, 1 out, 1 back, and did very little. I understand the appeal of the blinkers, I understand the appeal of 1600 metres, but she's not happening for mine. Her stablemate, Sweet Adeline, did a good job to win her maiden on that day. The other stablemate, Carini, did a very good job at Newcastle, resuming off a short break, and is a particularly impressive winner at this course and distance 2 starts back. So I'd be leaning towards 6 and 7 here. Montagnac has obvious appeal. Brenton Avdallah came back to the 1350 off a break here, better known as a miler, but found the right lane 2 starts back and ran in a particularly shocking race last start. Fashion Snips, unsuited last time, a winner over this course and distance, but not one of mine. Eva Luna I could entertain, she was unsuited off a break last time, and My Millie Moo's the only other runner. So one to oppose, I think, number 1, and her stablemates are in the firing line here. So we come to the nightcap. 1200 metres, the benchmark 67. The favourite is Pound Sterling, Waller trained, $3. Number 4, Kitto, Joe Pride trained, is $3.75. Another Warwick Farm trained runner, Swaloo, number 8, is $5. We have Nico Bell, a local, at $7. $11 Heir Apparent, another resumer here, number 5. Out to $15 E-Shap, who won at Canberra first up over the short course. And long odds, the bottom one, R5-8. Nico Bell will push forward. Pound Sterling will go well forward from his wide gate. Kitto sits on the speed, Radical Impact, ditto ditto. Swaloo is an interesting resumer that has the pace to lead, but I think will be best suited off the speed here. And Heir Apparent, E-Shap and R5-8 look to settle in the last 3 spots here. Pound Sterling certainly went well first up. He gave it to Medlin and drove well clear after straightening, only be bloused by his stablemate Pianissimo. I can understand the appeal here with Tommy Berry on board, second up at the 1200 metres. Kitto resumed at the scene of his maiden debut win, 1100 metres at Gosford. Appeared to have every chance, perhaps not the sweetest run, but a race won by Credible Witness, who had been somewhat of a bridesmaid previously. So I'm not sure that Kitto coming to Wyong second up is necessarily deadly, whereas number 8 Swaloo, who won her maiden on this course, then went to a mare's race and was in a vulnerable position all the way round. She returns off a particularly hot trial. She looks eminently dangerous in this race. Nico Bell is racing well, trained locally. I don't see a lot of depth of form there, but understand the appeal. Heir Apparent resumes off a forgivable run. She acquitted herself quite well with 3 local runs last time in. Trained by Anthony Cummings, ridden by Karen McAvoy. She fits in there as a middle pegger. So I understand the appeal of Pound Sterling, somewhat less Kitto. I'm leaning somewhat to 6 Swaloo, and I know that Gord was keen there as well. That's the program at Wyong. I'd suggest that, look, it's a fertile card, and that I'm leaning perhaps to Once More a Lady, race 2, number 1 as my best. I know that Gord was keenest on the last, race 8, number 8, Swaloo. We'll be back with the Triumvirate for a preview of the Sydney Cup meeting at Randwick. It's the Sydney Cup supported by nothing else, but Friday morning you'll get Glenster, Gordo and Perla to preview the card for Randwick on Saturday. I hope you get some coin out of the Wyong meeting tomorrow. I'll certainly be going up there with high hopes. So catch you on Friday.